This is the final. These teams climbed in there, starting at number 7.
Number 7.
The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys was as high as 2 throughout the year, but for whatever reason, they decided to play pretty lazy and lousy down the stretch. The Dallas Cowboys sit at number 7. Dak Prescott's got to get things turned around against Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football. If not, there'll be an early exit out of the playoffs.
Number 6.
Number 6, the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert and company. Now, look, Brandon Staley's been doing some goofy stuff all year long at the coaching position. Left players in way too long in the final game of the regular season. Luckily, Mike Williams is not injured all that bad, expected to play in the first playoff game in a long time for the Los Angeles Chargers. They sit at number 6.
Number 5.
Number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are a red-hot football team walking into the playoffs. When you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, they certainly look like a team headed in the right direction. Joe Burrow and company got things together in the middle of the year and kept it rolling from there on. Now they got an opportunity to go up and finish something that they didn't finish last year, was get to the Super Bowl and win it. It'll be a tough spot knowing that Buffalo and Kansas City is in the same conference, but Cincinnati could do it.
Number 4.
Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have been bouncing from 1 to 3, 3 to 1 all year long in my real ranking right now, and they sit at number 4. I didn't like the way they played against the Giants, and I know Jalen Hurts was coming off an injury. They looked a little sluggish at times, a little rusty. Maybe with the bye week that they get with the number 1 seed, they'll get back in sync. Guys will get healthy, and they'll start to roll again.
Number 3.
And number 3, the Buffalo Bills, a team that's been, again, 1, 2, 3 all year long. I even had them out of the rankings at once upon a time because they made me mad at the way that they played and lost the football game. But they sit at number 3, took care of business, won the AFC East. Now they get an opportunity to face the Miami J Dolphins in the playoffs. They'll advance and move on. I'm guaranteeing you that one. They sit at number 3.
Shocker.
Number 2.
The San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy, not Purdy, doing his job with Christian McCaffrey on the ground, running it, Deebo Samuel in the air, Ayuk along with Bosa in that defense. This team, you know, it's hard to go against them as being the team coming out of the NFC. If you go against them, I would say that you're probably wrong. They probably will be the team representing the NFC in Arizona for the Super Bowl. They just got too much talent and they're well coached. They sit at number 2.
Number 1.
Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City's bounced around from 1 to 3, 3 to 1, maybe 2 in the real rankings all year long. But basically, between them and Philadelphia, they've held down the number 1 spot. Patrick Mahomes and company, they just continue to win the division, dominate. Reminds me of what Bill Belichick, along with Tom Brady, did for 20 years in the AFC East. They're doing it in the AFC West now. They sit at number 1. I'm picking them to represent the AFC coming out of Kansas City and playing in Arizona against the San Francisco 49ers for the Super Bowl.
It's a good list.
And
It's an okay list.
Here's what I would say. Here's what I would say.
Yep.
I have an honorable mention on the list as well. Honorable mention teams. Any teams that Jay is rooting for this week is honorable mention.
Okay.
Any of them. And I'm sure there's 1,000 of them.
Yeah, there's multiple teams. Multiple teams. I will say, though, Key, the one disappointing aspect of this list, and the list it's a decent list. I wouldn't say good.
Why wouldn't you say good?
Because I just think that he is overlooking what the Cincinnati Bengals have done. And this is Joe Burrow. This is Joe Burrow. I'm going to go ahead and say it, Key. I mean, winners of 7 straight. They were up in that game against the Bills. Granted, before that game stopped. I might have them number 2 right now. Like, I might be.
And actually, they beat Kansas City head to head. You could even argue they should be 1.
I would have KC 1. I would have the Bengals 2. I would have the Bills, because I feel like the Bills are turning into this team of destiny thing. 3, 49ers 4. I would have the Eagles 5, just because, look, they should be up there number 1, number 2, but Jalen Hurts coming off that injury, finding himself like,
you know what,
rhythm.
though, Jay? I agree. I would have the Bengals higher, but I can't.
Higher, and you're going to have the Bengals higher than who?
I have the Bengals higher than everyone except the Chiefs.
So you would have the Bengals higher than San Francisco and that dominant defense.
You know why?
And the
You know
way-
why,
okay.
Key? You know why?
And you would have
Because-
them and then higher than Buffalo.
Yeah, I would. You know, I think they would have won that game against Buffalo. I think they've won 7 in a row, as Jay says. And here's the thing about them and the 49ers. I like Brock Purdy, too. You give me an undrafted rookie quarterback or like a guy versus Joe Burrow, because the Bengals have a defense, too, now, and they got playmakers, too.
You do understand they defense ain't nowhere near San Francisco.
No, San Francisco got a better defense.
Yeah, I agree.
But the Bengals have a defense. If you give Joe Burrow playmakers in a defense, I like him over a nice little quarterback like Brock Purdy. So, but Key, what I'm saying is, I think you can make a good argument for any team in the top 5 to be one. I think there's an argument for all of them. Like, if Jalen Hurts hadn't been hurt, they might be one, right?
He is hurt.
If Jalen Hurts didn't miss any time,
Yeah, they'd be one.
Yeah.
they probably would only have one loss on their record still.
right.
Sure,
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all that when I'm factoring this into it.
Yeah.
Buffalo, a team of destiny, they just look like they just rolling. I understand when that game was canceled and all that or suspended, that Cincinnati was on the march and moving and scoring points or what. I get all that.
Yeah.
But the game wasn't finished. So I can't say,
see,
well, if it would,
reasonable.
I couldn't do it.
But see, Key, I got a little taste because I understand how you look at things, right, through the prism of it. You see, Max, Key doesn't like when things are packaged up prematurely.
That's right.
So, the way Joe Thoreau has been packaged.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna
no,
take him.
I like Joe.
I know you
like him.
like him, but it's the
Joe's
way
fine.
he
No,
was
no.
packaged coming into the season. And
He's
he's gonna
got
be
your
that
number.
guy that goes to the Super Bowl year after year. Key's like, it's not this. So
Key,
it's hard.
he's got your
It's
number.
hard
You
on
have a
this one.
conflicting situation now. On the
Why?
one hand, you naturally like Joe Burrow. You like the cut of his jib, right? On the other hand, because he's been packaged up, you have a little
But his
bit of that
packaging-
thing like,
but his
oh, hold on a second.
His packaging is legit. There's no yeast with him. This is why I said earlier about Stetson Bennett during our offline conversation. The reason I like Stetson Bennett at Georgia's quarterback is because you're not trying to sell me. You're not trying to tell me he's the next Dan Marino. You're not doing that.
But
You're
for
just
example-
allowing me to like his play and embrace the moment in which the young man is doing, opposed to trying to tell me he's the top quarterback in the draft, and you're not doing that.
But for example, early in the season, I said Cincinnati's going to make the playoffs, and you were like, I don't think so this year. Super Bowl
I didn't
hangover,
think
whatever.
Of course,
but
not.
that's
I didn't think so. They
but
weren't playing good.
But the reason I really thought they were going to make it, even though their defense is played and Jamar Chase when he's healthy and all this kind of stuff, it's like, man, I look at Joe Burrow, I'm like, this dude ain't trying to miss no playoff. Like, there's some dudes they're not missing the playoffs.
See, when you start looking at the quarterback is one thing, but I still got question marks about Zach Taylor. So
Yeah.
even though the quarterback is doing his job, sometimes the coaches make you not believe in their team. Even though Pittsburgh has not a great quarterback situation, but guess what? I believe in the coach.
Yeah, I hear
so
that.
therefore,
Yeah, you see
I
that.
believe in the team.
No,
it's
I hear
like the
that.
Chargers.
Yeah.
I like everything the Chargers got, but the one guy I don't believe in
Is the coach. I hear
so
that.
therefore, I don't believe in what the Chargers might do.
Those
See,
are
that's
Key's real
who
rankings.
I am.
Look, I thought they were good rankings. I might quibble one or thing, but I think your rankings are good with me.
Yeah.
I don't
Decent
care
is
what
the
y'all
correct
think
word.
anyway.
But
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. Whatever.
you guys, it's my rankings. I don't care.
The Bears have the number 1 pick. Would Chicago actually draft little Bryce Young
Little Bryce Young.
and move on from big, strong Justin Fields?
You are little. Stop calling other men little.
But I don't play in the NFL,
You're not
brother.
Key. You're not
I don't
Key.
play in the
Key's
NFL.
6'4".
Bryce, how tall is Bryce Young?
You were like 5. Why you putting your hand on
You
your
and I,
hip?
you and
Why
I
putting
are,
your hand
you
on
and
your-
I are
we do
back
not
to
look
back.
eye to eye.
We
do not look eye to
maybe are a
eye.
half inch taller than
Key,
me.
come
Maybe.
get your man.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
2-time Super Bowl champion, Key. His opinion is twice as important as yours, and infinitely more important than mine and Jay's.
Hey,
All
I'm
right.
a